Maya Johnson stood at the entrance of the sleek, glass-paneled conference room, her heart racing as she adjusted her blazer. Today was supposed to be her breakthrough, the moment she would finally prove herself to the investors who had scoffed at her ambitions. The room was filled with a handful of influential investors, their gazes flickering between their devices and her, the tension palpable as they awaited her pitch. Leading the charge of skepticism was Marcus Reed, a self-assured man in his 40s, known for his sharp tongue and sharper suits. Maya took a deep breath, steeling herself against the weight of his gaze. Good morning, everyone. I'm Maya Johnson, and I'm here to present my startup, TechSavvy, a platform designed to empower users to navigate the complexities of technology with ease. She felt the words flow from her passion igniting a spark in her voice. As she proceeded with her presentation, she could see some investors nodding, intrigued by her innovative approach to tech education. Yet, Marcus's expression remained unchanged, a smirk playing at the corners of his mouth. Interesting concept, Maya, he began, his voice dripping with condescension. But tell me, how do you expect someone like you to compete in a market dominated by established players? I mean, you do realize this is a high-stakes game, right? The room fell silent, and a wave of humiliation washed over her. She could feel the heat rising in her cheeks, but she forced herself to stand tall. With all due respect, Marcus, this isn't about competition. It's about innovation and inclusivity. The tech world thrives on diversity of thought, and my platform is designed to bridge gaps that others overlook. Marcus raised an eyebrow, his smirk widening. Diversity of thought? Is that code for we need to lower our standards? I just don't think you have what it takes. His words were like daggers, and she felt the sting of his ridicule pierce through her confidence. The other investors exchanged glances, some looking uncomfortable, while others appeared amused. Maya's heart sank, but she refused to let it show. Thank you for your feedback, Marcus, she replied, her voice steady. I believe in my vision and the value it brings. I'm ready to take on this challenge. As she wrapped up her presentation, she could sense the investors' ambivalence. They offered polite applause, but the weight of Marcus's words lingered. After the meeting, she stepped outside, her mind a whirlwind of emotions, frustration, anger, and deep-seated disappointment. Later that evening, she met her best friend, Lila, at their favorite coffee shop. The warm, inviting atmosphere was a stark contrast to the coldness she had felt in the conference room. Hey, how did it go? Lila asked, her eyes bright with anticipation. Maya slumped into the chair, her shoulders heavy. Not great, Lila. Marcus he belittled me. I thought I was prepared, but it was like he was determined to tear me down. Lila reached across the table, squeezing Maya's hand. Forget about Marcus. He's just a loudmouth who doesn't know real talent when he sees it. You have an incredible idea, and you're capable of so much more than he'll ever understand. Maya sighed, tracing the rim of her coffee cup with her finger. I know, but it's hard not to let his words get to me. I want to prove him wrong, to show everyone that I can make this work. Then do it, Lila urged, her enthusiasm infectious. Use this pain as fuel. Research the industry, refine your prototype, and get back out there. You're not just fighting for yourself. You're standing up for everyone who's ever been underestimated. Maya's heart stirred with a newfound determination. You're right. I can't let him define my worth. I'm going to turn this around. That night, Maya returned home, her mind buzzing with ideas. She opened her laptop and began to sift through articles, market research, and tech trends, immersing herself in the world she was so eager to conquer. Late nights and early mornings became her new rhythm, her apartment transforming into a makeshift office. She juggled 2 jobs, one at a local coffee shop and another as a tech support assistant, each paycheck going toward her startup. As she pored over her notes, sketching out ideas for her prototype, she felt a sense of purpose that had been missing. Each keystroke felt like a step toward reclaiming her narrative, a way to transform the humiliation into motivation. The world may have underestimated her, but Maya Johnson was ready to rise. Maya stood at her booth, her heart racing as she surveyed the bustling tech expo. The air was thick with excitement and innovation. Attendees flocked to various displays, eagerly engaging with entrepreneurs eager to showcase their latest creations. After months of sleepless nights, relentless dedication, and unwavering belief in her vision, today was the day she would unveil her product to the world. Her startup, an app designed to streamline communication and collaboration for remote teams, had evolved brilliantly, and Maya beamed with pride as she adjusted her display. The sleek, user-friendly interface of her product, showcased on a large tablet, gleamed under the bright lights. She had put every ounce of her creativity and hard work into this moment. "Hey, you ready for this?" Lila appeared beside her, a supportive smile on her face. "More than ready," Maya replied, though her voice trembled slightly. "I just hope they see what I see in it." "They will," Lila reassured her. "You've put in the work. Just remember, confidence is key. You've got this." As the expo opened, Maya found herself surrounded by a diverse crowd of potential investors and tech enthusiasts. She engaged with attendees, her passion spilling over as she demonstrated her app's functionality. Each interaction filled her with more energy, and she reveled in the positive feedback. "This is revolutionary," one attendee exclaimed, her eyes wide with excitement. "It could really change how teams work together." Maya felt a rush of validation. This was what she had dreamed of. This was her moment. Just then, she caught sight of a familiar face among the crowd: Marcus Reed. He strolled with an air of superiority, his entourage trailing behind him. Maya's heart sank momentarily, memories of his scornful words from their last encounter flooding back. "I hope you're not planning on wasting our time again, Maya," Marcus shouted across the room, his voice dripping with condescension. "We all know how these things go." Maya clenched her fists, but instead of letting his taunts affect her, she focused on the positive energy surrounding her. "I'm not wasting anyone's time, Marcus," she called back, her voice steady. "I'm here to show what real innovation looks like." Marcus raised an eyebrow, clearly unimpressed, but Maya knew that this time she had the support of her community. She continued to interact with potential investors, and as the day wore on, she began to notice the buzz her product was generating. People were intrigued, asking questions, and most importantly, they were listening. Later that evening, Maya received a visit from a small tech magazine's editor, intrigued by her story. "I've heard great things about your app, Maya. We'd love to feature you in our next issue," he said, flipping through his notebook filled with notes from the day. Maya's heart soared. "Really? That would be amazing. I'd be honored. This could really elevate your credibility and open doors for you," he continued. "Your journey is inspiring, and I think our readers would love to hear about it." As the editor walked away, Maya felt a sense of accomplishment wash over her. The hard work, the late nights, the self-doubt, it was all starting to pay off. She turned to Lila, who had been watching the exchange with wide eyes. "Did that just happen?" Lila asked, grinning from ear to ear. "Yeah, I can't believe it," Maya exclaimed, feeling buoyed by the support of her friend and the growing excitement around her startup. But as Maya celebrated her small victories, Marcus was not far behind. He had been observing the entire scene, his expression shifting from indifference to concern. "We underestimated her," he muttered to his team, his voice low but laced with urgency. "Should we do something about it?" one of his associates asked, glancing nervously at Marcus. "Absolutely," Marcus replied, an edge creeping into his tone. "We can't let her get ahead. Let's find out what's really going on with her business." With that, Marcus's team set off to dig deeper into Maya's rising success, unaware that Maya had not only captured the attention of the tech community, but also begun to build a supportive network of allies who believed in her vision. Maya stood in front of her mirror, adjusting her blazer for what felt like the 100th time. The fabric was soft yet structured, a deep navy that complemented her skin tone. But the reflection staring back at her was more than just a polished exterior. It was a woman who had fought tooth and nail to get to this moment. She took a deep breath, the weight of the upcoming pitch pressing down on her chest. This conference was not just another chance to secure funding. It was an opportunity to validate all her hard work, to prove to herself and to the world that she belonged in this industry. As she gathered her notes, her phone buzzed on the table, lighting up with a message from Lila. "Remember, it's not just about the numbers. Share your story. They need to know you. Maya smiled, her heart swelling with gratitude for her best friend's unwavering support. Lila had been her rock through all the late nights and endless rejections. She quickly typed back, "Thanks, girl. I won't forget." With one last glance in the mirror, Maya grabbed her bag and headed out the door, determination coursing through her veins. The conference center buzzed with activity, the air thick with anticipation. Maya walked through the crowd, her heart racing as she spotted familiar faces: investors, journalists, and tech enthusiasts. Among them, she noticed Marcus Reed, his presence as imposing as ever, flanked by his team. Just the sight of him ignited a fire within her. This time, she would not be dismissed. After what felt like an eternity, it was finally her turn to present. She stood backstage, peering out at the audience. The lights dimmed as she walked onto the stage, and the spotlight illuminated her. A murmur swept through the crowd, and she could feel their eyes on her, a mix of curiosity and skepticism. Taking a deep breath, she began, "Hello everyone, my name is Maya Johnson, and I'm the founder of TechBridge, a startup designed to bridge the gap between technology and the underserved communities." She paused, letting her words sink in. "I stand before you today, not just as an entrepreneur, but as a woman who believes that diversity is not just a buzzword, it's a necessity in tech." As she spoke, Maya felt a surge of confidence. She shared her journey, detailing the struggles she faced in the industry, the obstacles that seemed insurmountable. "When I first pitched my idea, I was met with skepticism. I was told I didn't have what it takes. But those words only fueled my desire to succeed." Her voice began to resonate with the audience, drawing them in. "I worked tirelessly, pouring my savings into developing a product that not only serves a market, but also empowers those who have been overlooked." In the front row, Marcus's expression shifted from arrogance to intrigue. She could tell he was listening now, possibly even reconsidering his previous judgments. Maya continued, "TechBridge is not just about profits. It's about creating pathways for others to follow. Imagine a world where everyone, regardless of their background, has access to the same technological advancements that many take for granted." As she wrapped up her presentation, Maya felt the adrenaline coursing through her. "I invite you all to join me on this journey. Together, we can create a more inclusive tech landscape. Together, we can build a future that reflects the diversity of our society." The audience erupted in applause, and for a moment, the world around her faded. She smiled, tears brimming in her eyes, overwhelmed by the response. It was a standing ovation, a confirmation that her passion and hard work mattered. Backstage, she was met by Lila, who engulfed her in a tight hug. "You did it! You were incredible! I can't believe it!" Maya replied, her voice shaky with emotion. "I really connected with them." As the excitement buzzed around her, she caught sight of Marcus approaching. He wore a contemplative expression, one she had not expected. "Maya," he began, his tone surprisingly neutral, "that was an impressive pitch. I must admit, I underestimated you." "Thank you," she replied, her heart pounding. "But this isn't just about impressing you. It's about changing the narrative in tech." He nodded slowly, clearly grappling with the idea. "I'd like to discuss potential collaboration. Your vision could be beneficial." Maya's heart raced, but she kept her composure. "Let's talk, but on my terms. I won't compromise my values." As he walked away, Maya felt a mix of triumph and caution. She had not only made her mark, but had also opened the door for a potential partnership that could redefine her journey. The day had been a turning point, not just for her startup, but for the very essence of representation in tech. She smiled, knowing that the battle was far from over, yet filled with hope for what lay ahead. Maya stood in her newly rented office, a sleek space filled with the hum of innovation and creativity. The walls were adorned with bright posters showcasing her startup's mission: empower, innovate, inspire. After securing several lucrative investments at the conference, she felt an invigorating sense of purpose. Her vision was coming to life, and the first step was expanding her team to reflect the diversity she so passionately advocated for. As she scrolled through resumes, Maya's phone buzzed. It was Lila, her steadfast confidant. "Hey Maya, how's the hiring going?" Lila's voice crackled through the speaker, a blend of excitement and encouragement. "Better than I expected. I've already interviewed a few brilliant candidates. I'm focusing on bringing in a team that embodies our mission," Maya replied, her eyes sparkling with enthusiasm. "That's amazing. Just remember, you're not just building a company. You're building a community," Lila reminded her gently. "I know. I want everyone to feel included and valued. I won't let anyone else experience what I went through," she said, her voice firm with conviction. Days turned into weeks as Maya meticulously crafted her team, handpicking individuals from various backgrounds and experiences. Each new member brought unique perspectives, enhancing the startup's creativity and innovation. The atmosphere buzzed with collaboration, and Maya reveled in the energy that surrounded her. But success often breeds envy, and soon, whispers began to circulate in the industry. Marcus Reed, the same investor who had once belittled her, was not taking her success lightly. He gathered his elite circle, plotting ways to undermine Maya's hard-earned achievements. "Have you seen her latest funding round? It's a joke," Marcus scoffed, leaning back in his chair as his associates nodded in agreement. "I can't believe they're falling for her story. It's all marketing fluff." One of his investors, a man named Tom, frowned. "But she's got a solid product. We can't ignore that." "Solid? Please. I'll make sure potential investors hear the truth about her. Let's show them who the real players are," Marcus exclaimed, his voice dripping with arrogance. Meanwhile, Maya remained blissfully unaware of the brewing storm. She was too busy preparing for an upcoming launch event, pouring her heart into every detail. But the winds of discontent were shifting, and soon she would be forced to confront the harsh realities of the business world. One afternoon, while reviewing some market analysis reports, Maya received an unexpected message from an anonymous source within Marcus's circle. The message outlined Marcus's plans to discredit her by spreading false rumors about her startup's stability and reliability. Maya's heart raced as she read the words, disbelief transforming into determination. She knew she couldn't let Marcus's underhanded tactics derail her progress. With her pulse quickening, she turned to her laptop and began drafting a plan. "Lila, I need your help," she called out, knowing her friend would be there in a heartbeat. When Lila arrived, Maya shared the shocking news. "They're trying to sabotage me? This is unbelievable," Lila exclaimed, her face a mixture of anger and concern. "What's your plan?" "I'm going to confront Marcus directly," Maya declared, her voice steady. "I won't let him think he can intimidate me. I have worked too hard to let someone like him undermine my achievements." Lila nodded, her expression shifting from shock to pride. "That's the spirit. You've earned your place, and you deserve to stand up for yourself." Maya spent the night preparing for the confrontation, rehearsing her words and strategies. She could feel the weight of the moment bearing down on her, but with each passing hour, her resolve only strengthened. The next day, she found herself standing outside the sleek glass building where Marcus's firm was located. Her heart pounded, yet she felt a surge of empowerment coursing through her. Taking a deep breath, she stepped inside and confidently approached the reception. "I need to speak with Marcus Reed," she stated, her voice unwavering. The receptionist raised an eyebrow, clearly surprised by Maya's boldness. "Do you have an appointment?" "No, but he will want to see me." "Tell him it's Maya Johnson," she replied, her determination shining through. Moments later, Marcus appeared, a bemused expression on his face. "Maya Johnson, to what do I owe the pleasure?" Maya took a step forward, her voice steady as she met his gaze. "I know what you've been saying about my startup, and I'm here to set the record straight. You will not undermine my success with your petty tactics." Marcus chuckled, a patronizing smile spreading across his face. "Really? And what makes you think anyone will believe you over me?" "Because I have the truth on my side," Maya asserted, her confidence unshaken. "I've built my company with integrity and hard work, and I refuse to let your jealousy dictate my future." As the tension thickened in the air, Maya realized that this was just the beginning of a battle she was more than ready to face. She had come too far to back down now, and with each word, She was not just fighting for herself, but for every entrepreneur who dared to dream against the odds. Maya stood at the front of the sleek conference room, the air thick with tension. The board of investors sat before her, their expressions a mix of skepticism and curiosity. Marcus Reed leaned back in his chair, a smug smile creeping across his face. He believed he had the upper hand, but Maya was about to change the game. "Thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak today," Maya began, her voice steady despite the knot in her stomach. "I'm here not just to present my achievements, but to address something critical that has been happening behind the scenes." She glanced at Marcus, who shifted uncomfortably in his seat. "Over the past few months, I have become aware of some unethical practices that have occurred within this investment group. Specifically, I have evidence of attempts to undermine my company through disinformation campaigns and personal attacks." A murmur rippled through the room. The investors exchanged glances, and Maya took a deep breath, her resolve solidifying. "I've received messages from potential investors who were approached by representatives of this board, discouraging them from investing in my startup. This kind of behavior is not only unprofessional, it is damaging to the integrity of this entire organization." Marcus's smug expression faltered, his eyes narrowing as he shot her an incredulous look. "This is preposterous," he snapped, leaning forward. "You're trying to deflect from your lack of experience and the inadequacy of your product." Maya stood her ground. "No, Marcos. This is about standing up against intimidation and bias. I have built my company on hard work and innovation, and I refuse to let anyone, including you, diminish my accomplishments." The board members began to take notes, their interest peaked. Maya felt a surge of adrenaline. "I've gathered testimonies from individuals who were approached by your team. They can confirm the tactics you've employed to sway potential investors away from me. I am not here to play games. I am here to build a future that includes everyone, regardless of their background." She noticed the shift in the room. The investors were no longer just passive observers. They were engaged, leaning forward in their seats. "My journey has not been easy," she continued, her voice rising with passion. "I have faced doubt, prejudice, and ridicule, but I have also found strength in my community and my vision. I believe in a tech industry that values diversity and equality, and I will fight for it." After a long moment of silence, one of the older investors, a woman with sharp glasses and a no-nonsense demeanor, spoke up. "Maya, I appreciate your candor. I wasn't aware of these allegations. If what you're saying is true, it's unacceptable. We need to discuss this further." Marcus's face flushed with anger. "You can't seriously consider her claims. This is just a ploy to gain sympathy." But Maya pressed on, undeterred. "It's not about sympathy, Marcus. It's about justice. And it's about ensuring that all entrepreneurs, especially those from marginalized backgrounds, have a fair shot at success." The room buzzed with conversation as the investors deliberated. Maya felt a surge of hope. She had come here to expose the truth, and it seemed to be resonating with them. Slowly, the tide was turning. Weeks later, Maya stood on the grand stage of the Tech Summit, her heart racing with excitement and nerves. The venue was packed, filled with innovators, entrepreneurs, and aspiring tech leaders. The spotlight shone brightly on her, illuminating the journey she had embarked upon. "Thank you for this incredible opportunity," she began, her voice echoing in the expansive hall. "Today, I want to share not just the success of my startup, but the story of resilience that led me here." As she recounted her experiences, the challenges, the setbacks, and the community that uplifted her, Maya saw heads nodding in understanding. She spoke of the importance of diversity in tech, highlighting how varied perspectives lead to innovation and growth. The audience was captivated, hanging on to her every word. "I stand before you as a testament to what can be achieved when we refuse to be silenced," Maya declared passionately. "We must create spaces where everyone feels empowered to contribute. Let's build a future where talent is recognized over prejudice." The crowd erupted in applause, and Maya felt a swell of pride. She was no longer the underdog. She was a beacon of hope for others. As she stepped off the stage, her heart raced with the knowledge that she was making a difference. Inspired by her journey, Maya began to mentor young entrepreneurs in her community. She organized workshops focused on skills development, networking, and navigating the complexities of the tech world. Each week, her small office buzzed with energy as aspiring business owners gathered to learn and share ideas. "Remember, your voice matters," she would tell them, her eyes shining with conviction. "You have the power to change the narrative. Don't ever let anyone tell you that you can't succeed." Through her mentorship, Maya created a ripple effect, empowering others to pursue their dreams and challenge the status quo. She had come full circle, transforming her pain into purpose. And in doing so, she was not only building her empire but also uplifting an entire community. As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting long shadows across the bustling streets of downtown, Marcus Reed sat in his sleek office, his mind racing with desperation. The walls adorned with accolades and photographs of successful ventures now felt like a prison, reminding him of the power he had lost to Maya Johnson. His fingers drummed impatiently on the mahogany desk, the rhythm echoing his mounting frustration. He knew that in the world of high-stakes investment, perception was everything, and Maya had turned the tide against him. He needed a plan, a last-ditch effort to reclaim his influence and undermine her growing empire. "Think, Marcus, think," he muttered to himself, glancing at the framed picture of his past successes, a stark contrast to his current situation. "There has to be something." Meanwhile, Maya sat in her office, a starkly different environment filled with vibrant colors and motivational quotes plastered on the walls. Her team was buzzing with excitement over the recent news of her award nomination for innovation and diversity in tech. Lila, her best friend and confidant, leaned across the table, her eyes sparkling with enthusiasm. "Maya, you have to get ready for this award ceremony. It's not just recognition. It's a testament to everything you've fought for." Maya smiled, her heart swelling with pride. "I know, Lila, but it's not just about me. It's about everyone who believed in this dream, who stood by me when things were tough." "Exactly. Let's make it a celebration of our journey," Lila exclaimed, her voice brimming with excitement. Just as the two friends were brainstorming ideas for the ceremony, a notification pinged on Maya's phone. An article had just been published by an investigative journalist, detailing Marcus's questionable past in the investment world. Maya's eyes widened as she read the headline, "Investment Tycoon's Dark Secrets Uncovered." "Lila, you have to see this," Maya exclaimed, her voice a mix of disbelief and relief as she scrolled through the article. It detailed the fraudulent activities Marcus had been involved in, showcasing a trail of deceit that stretched back years. "Wow, this is huge. They're going to tear him apart," Lila said, her eyes wide with excitement. "Do you think this will change how people see me?" Maya asked, a hint of uncertainty creeping into her voice. "Of course. This is the vindication you deserve. Finally, people will see you for the visionary you are, not just the woman they underestimated," Lila reassured her. As news of Marcus's downfall spread like wildfire, the atmosphere at Maya's company transformed. Investors who had once doubted her now sought her out, eager to align themselves with her innovative vision. At the award ceremony, Maya stood on stage, her heart racing as she gazed at the audience filled with supporters, mentors, and fellow entrepreneurs. "Tonight is not just about me," she began, her voice steady and strong. "It's about every person who has faced doubt, every dreamer who has been told they don't belong. We are all capable of greatness, and together, we can redefine what success looks like." The room erupted in applause, and as she accepted the award, she felt a wave of gratitude wash over her. This wasn't just a personal victory. It was a triumph for diversity and inclusion in the tech industry. Later that evening, as the celebrations continued, Maya was approached by one of the investors who had once scoffed at her ideas. His demeanor was different now. He looked humbled, almost sheepish. "Maya," he began, his voice earnest, "I owe you an apology. I didn't see your potential, and I let my biases cloud my judgment. What you've accomplished is nothing short of inspiring." Maya paused, taking in his words. Instead of anger, she felt compassion. "Thank you for your honesty. It means a lot to me. It's easy to fall into the trap of prejudice, but it's never too late to change." He nodded, visibly relieved. I hope to learn from this experience and support others like you moving forward. Maya smiled, a warmth blossoming in her chest. That's all we can do, grow and uplift each other. Together, we can create a more inclusive future. As the evening drew to a close, Maya stood tall, surrounded by friends and allies. She had faced ridicule, doubt, and prejudice, but she had emerged stronger and more determined than ever. Her journey was far from over. It had only just begun. With every step forward, she aimed to inspire the next generation of innovators to believe in themselves and their dreams, proving that resilience and unity could conquer even the darkest of challenges.